If the weather was a little more suitable today, I'd like to go for a ride, but it's raining, more rain coming this way. So I just been piddling around in the garage, polishing up the old scooter. That are looking pretty good. Been using the F11 on there. This stuff shines it up, no doubt. It really puts a nice gloss on the paint and the chrome. So I'm pretty happy with it. But you know, if you've been following some of my most recent videos, and I've been pondering this today, being out here piddling around in the man cave, you know, I like to do a lot of work on my bike myself, just because at least you know, usually when you do it yourself, you're doing a better job than somebody would in a shop. You got to figure in a shop, they've got numerous bikes there. I don't know how many bikes a mechanic will work on in one day, but your bike's just another number there. You know, okay, I got to get this one knocked out, and then I got to do 3 more. If you do it yourself, you put a lot of TLC into it, a lot of extra care. You know, you'll clean the parts as you take them off, and then you make sure everything's reassembled nicely and tightened back up and everything's in good adjustment, and you double and triple check everything. So it's nice to do your own work, but there's some things you just can't always do yourself, or you don't want to do yourself. Now, just the other day I took the back wheel off this thing and jacked it up, popped the back wheel off of there, and I was going to get a new tire on there. So I called the dealer up because it's the closest place to here. We live pretty rural, and there's not a whole lot of bike shops anywhere within, you know, an hour's drive. So the dealership here, I'd say, is probably about 20-25 minutes away. So I called him up and I say, hey, I gotta need a new tire, and here's the tire that I need. And they said, yeah, we got that here. I said, okay, well, if I bring my rim in, will you mount it for me? Well, they said, what year is your bike? I said, it's a 99 FLSTF, a fat boy. Oh, no, we don't work on those. I go, wait a minute, you don't work on those? No, if your bike's almost 20 years old. If they're older bikes, we don't work on them anymore. So, you know, I was like, I couldn't believe it, and I said, I'm not asking you to work on my bike. I took the wheel off the bike. I'm just asking you to mount a tire for me. They said, no, we won't even do that for you. If your bike's a 99, no, we won't touch it. We won't even change tire for you. So that pissed me off. Well, I'm guessing all this baloney comes down from way up with the suits and ties at the main headquarters, because I'm not quite sure. From what I'm hearing, most of the guys are telling me that all the dealers are doing this now. They're all cutting back on their service to older bikes. From what I'm hearing, anything 10 years or older, they will not touch anymore. So if you got a bike that's pushing 10 years old, you better find another shop, because Harley ain't going to work on it. You know, and it makes me think, where's the loyalty to Harley anymore, or to what's Harley's loyalty to their customers anymore? You know, it seems like they're all about pushing these new bikes, and now they're even pushing this electric bike big time, which is a whole different gender. None of us really know how that's going to pan out. But the thing is, they keep upping production of these new bikes with all kinds of different computerized programs, and then I know a lot of guys that have these newer bikes are having problems with them more and more, and they end up in the shop. And even if you do have a newer bike and you go to bring it in the shop, they're likely to tell you, well, we can't get to it right away. It's going to be maybe the beginning of next month or something like that before we can get to it. We're really booked up. You hear that all the time at the Harley shop. So, you know, it just makes me wonder, okay, if you wanted your business to really boom, wouldn't you be loyal to your customers? Wouldn't you take time to take care of them, no matter what year their bike is? At least have one mechanic on staff that knows old school bikes, that knows older bikes, that knows vintage bikes, that can actually work on motorcycles, and not just somebody that knows how to plug it into a computer that tells you, oh, replace this sensor, replace that, and you're good to go. I don't know. Harley, our local dealership, the one thing I give them is they like to put on special events, and they do it quite regularly. And I don't know if other dealerships do that. I'm sure all the Harley dealers tend to do that, but I'm not sure about the Honda dealers or the Jap bike dealers if they do the same thing. I know our dealership will put on contests. They'll have live bands. They'll have food, burgers, hot dogs. Sometimes they'll even have a keg of beer there, and they'll kind of keep it under close key. You're only allowed to have 2 tickets, in which one ticket gets you a beer, so 2 cups of beer and you're done. They cut you off, which is fine because nobody wants to serve somebody a lot of beer and then send them off on their bike drunk. So I can see that, but the events that I've been to there seem like they haven't been, I guess for lack of better terms, managed very well. They'll tell you they're going to have a contest, and you go up there, and you get up there, say around 1 o'clock or something, and there's no contest, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I've actually sat up there and waited, and it's been like 5 o'clock when they finally decide to do the contest. And most of the people already went home. I mean, you're going to go out and ride in the afternoon, and 5, 6 o'clock is dinner time. You're not going to hang around the Harley shop all day just waiting to, be in a slow race or something like that. So, I think some of their events could be managed a little better. Just saying, that's neither here nor there. The big thing is how you treat your customers. The events they do are pretty nice. They'll have pancake breakfasts, they'll have rides, they'll have live music and food trucks a lot of times. And I think all the dealers do it, but the thing is around up here, and it's nice to have a place where you can go that's not too far away, but something fun to do for the day. So it gives you a destination to ride to be around a lot of other bikes. It's kind of like going to bike night, but it's during the day. Our dealership doesn't ever get a huge turnout, but it's a fair turnout for most of the events, depending on what it is, what the weather is. And you can't beat free food, and or a free drink, a free breakfast, whatever they're going to offer. You just can't beat it. So that's nice. It's nice that they do that. My gripe is I think they could be managed a little better. I don't think there's much attention at our dealership to it. I do think they put effort forth to make these events happen. Boy, this last incident just really put a bad taste in my mouth for the Harley dealership. It really did. It's sad to say. I love my bike. I really enjoy this thing, and I like to take care of it. I like to keep it serviced and in good shape, but I really don't know who to turn to when I do need help. I can't mount a tire myself. I probably could. A couple tire tools, and I could probably pop the tire off of the rim and pop a new one on there. But I take the risk of damaging my rim too if I don't have the right equipment. And then if you got a tubeless, trying to seat the bead on there to get air in it, I got this little old dinky air compressor here that really doesn't have the high power for popping a bead on a tire. It just works for for keeping, keeping the tire pressures up to the proper level. That's about all it's good for. Really, I'd like to get a better one for the shop here that would do me a little more justice, but all that stuff costs money too. So anyway, I was able to find, actually through one of the parts guys at the dealership, thank God, was able to give me a tip where there was a place in South Akron that I could go to, and they would do anything I wanted as far as service work. I gave them a call. The place was called House of Thunder, and the guy said, bring it in, no problem, we'll change your tire, whatever you want. You bring the whole bike in, you can just bring the wheel in, we don't care. So I brought the wheel in there, and I left it overnight, and the next morning, he called me like first thing in the morning and said, tire's on the rim, ready to go. Whenever you want to come pick it up, come get it. I was pretty happy with that. Now, it probably cost me a little more. If I could have gone out and bought a tire on my own. I could have bought one online and saved a few dollars, but since he was giving me the work, and I was so frustrated with everything, I just said, fine, sell me a tire, here's what I need, put it on my rim, and he did. So, now I got a Dunlop, and I'll show you. I got this Dunlop D402. It's got a little different tread pattern on there than the tire I had in the past. It's just a black wall. You have your choice of black wall, white wall. This is just a black wall. But they're not cheap either. Dunlops. And Dunlops, they have a softer rubber. They really grip the road really well. I can come out of the hole shot pretty fast with that tire on there. But these guys are telling me now that the Shinko tires are like a third of the price of that, and they're going to hold up a little longer than the Dunlops. Probably not as soft of a tire, but you get more miles out of it. So that's probably not a bad thing either. I'm going to have to look into that, and who knows, maybe a couple years down the road when I go to flip this tire out, I'll probably go that route and get a cheaper tire. I'll keep you posted on whatever else is going on here. Plenty more videos coming up. Try to come up with some more good stories for you guys. I know you like my stories. I got many of them back here in the back of my head. I just have to pull them out and brush the cobwebs off of them. Some stories, though, I can't tell. Nah, it's better. Some of them are better to be left buried where they lay. So, at any rate, guys, until next time, ride hard and die free.